Hi guys, welcome to the Canadiens Cafe podcast with your host Nick Lariviere and my co-host Grant Gofredo.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the last couple of weeks of the Montreal Canadiens. Unfortunately, we weren't able to record over the past few weeks due to some internet issues and other
It's the
times we
season.
were sick. Both of us. Actually, you were last week, I was the week before, and then there
Yeah,
was the internet. So it's
that too.
been
Oh, yeah, that
a
too.
crazy ride to get a podcast going. The
Well,
good
we're
news is we
finally
both
here.
got to see at least one game with Laine scoring a goal at the Bell Center. Of course,
Yes,
you
we
saw
did.
the hat trick. That must have been special.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like in the stands for it, but I was in the
Yeah, yeah.
concourse. I
Or
guess that still counts. Yeah,
it still counts. You were still
yeah.
there. You
I
heard
was still
it.
there. Yeah,
Honestly, it's still crazy that the time that you went to go make Victor the Viking was at that exact moment. Like,
yeah.
could you have not gone? Well, I guess during intermission it was going to be very hard.
That's why. Yeah. So I had like a little bit of a strategy because I only found out after I finished my shift, so I left.
Good.
And my coworker sent me a picture of like him in the Bell Center. So I'm like, okay, well, as a Vikings fan, I have to go back to the Bell Center.
Yeah.
So that
You
was a
bought
fun moment in itself. But
you bought a ticket last minute or what?
no, I was able to get into the bus center with my credentials. So
Oh, so you didn't even. Okay, so you didn't even actually have real seats. You went with.
no,
That's
I
why.
literally only like again like I don't know whoever like if I'm allowed to share this or not, but I didn't stay for the entire game. Like I literally just went back, got into like where I was where with my work, and I went for the picture, and then I left. I didn't stay for the game.
Oh, okay. That's what happened. Okay, now I
Yeah,
understand.
no, like no, they. I mean, I could have went back to the warehouse, but like at that point, I'm like, okay, well, I got what I wanted, so I'm gonna go
Yeah, you
home.
did, and you were able to get away with what you needed to do for
Yeah,
that
it's like
specific
I
scene.
didn't go to watch the game. I went more for the
Yeah,
mascot and
and
everything.
I thought
But like I
maybe
just so happened to like when that happened, I saw
I
his hat
thought
trick.
maybe you either had tickets for your because it was your girlfriend's birthday the next day, or you were doing like some sort of Christmas thing and you ended up at the game.
No, I helped out downstairs a bit, and then that was that. So,
Good of you,
yeah,
at least show up, do some work.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, I went there, helped out a bit there, and then my coworker sent me the picture, so I went back and just for the picture,
Crazy.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
As for me, the night he got in the lineup, I said like I really want to go, and last minute like
You were at that game or you were not at that game?
the first game I was there.
Yeah, they were playing. Who was a
The Islanders, the
that? Yeah,
2-1 win in
no, it
overtime. It was
was
a great game.
but the one that the blowout game. It was who was it against the blowout game?
Are you talking about the game that they lost blowout or?
Oh no, never mind. It was the Islanders.
No, the
Sorry.
blowout game where they destroyed a team was the game that you met Viking or Victor Viking, but
What
I'm
opponent was that?
what?
What opponent was that? I can't even remember.
Oh, the Sabres.
Oh yeah, we killed them. That's right. They were on the
That's
same
what I'm
game.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
and but then the next night, but the previous game was against the Penguins where we lost 9-2.
yeah, that was
Aside from that 9-2 game where it looked like they just gave up in the third period, they've been very good since Laine has come
yeah.
around.
That was a bad game in itself. But
Yeah.
recently they've been on the up,
But
and
I wouldn't even say it was a bad game. I would say it was the worst third period, the worst period of the season. We'll
yeah,
put
no,
it
it
that
was
way.
a tight game. It was a very tight
And
game, and then it just they lost it,
I
and
think a
then
lot of the
yeah,
factor is, and that's another topic we're going to talk about tonight, Caden Primo. That made things worse too. But I think Montembeault just got overly tired and because you're playing
goalies
him.
have those kind of nights, and I mean, yeah, like a 9-2 loss is not anything to like that is a goalie problem. It's also a shared team problem, but
Yeah, the
yeah,
defense was awful. We haven't seen Struble since that night, by the way. By the way,
no,
Struble has
no.
not been playing since that night.
But I
He was
mean,
awful. He was
again,
falling everywhere. Him and yeah, Matheson. That was another thing. Matheson, he's one of your best defensemen.
yeah.
And
So it really shows when he struggles, the team struggles. So that
and
was something that
Hudson, you can see that he's not the best defensively, but he puts up points. It's fun. He's a
I
fun
mean,
defenseman.
it's his first full on year
Yeah,
in
and
the
he's not
NHL.
the worst
So
defensively. He's actually done a bit better than I thought
yeah,
defensively.
yeah,
And
they're relying a lot on
that's
him.
that's been a positive that honestly watching Hudson defend at times, but sometimes he makes a few mistakes. Like the first game against Detroit, he
Yeah,
made a play and I think it was the 3-2 goal that put the Red Wings up 3-2. He made a play that was just awful, and Matheson couldn't cover for him. I think
Yeah.
what Hudson needs is a proper defender that can cover for him. Look,
Yeah,
like a someone said earlier once that he needs like a Caden Gooley, but right-handed, because you want Caden Gooley on the left side.
you do.
Ideally, have you seen the way Gooley and Carrier have been on Friday and
Well,
Saturday? That was
Carrier,
amazing.
I'm very impressed with. Carrier's play is like we needed kind of like that kind of reinsurance, like kind of defender where you can kind of ease your shoulders or like ease the tension a bit when the puck goes into your zone.
Yeah,
Carrier, I feel like is
it's
that kind
very
of guy
solid.
where
He's got a big
he's very
partner
solid.
in Gooley. I don't think you change that. I think
No.
that could be like a future pairing for the next 5, 6 years if you wanted,
Yeah, like I said,
or
I
at
mean,
least till the contract ends.
a lot of people when the trade happened were why are you getting rid of Justin Barron, who was this supposedly young defender who like everyone liked because it was a great
Yeah,
deal. I mean, he's a replaceable guy. He has potential. Still a well, not a prospect, but he's
no,
like
he's
a young
27,
NHLer.
28. He
He's
just
very
turned
young in
28.
his career. He's very young in his NHL career, like very early
He's
in
hit
his
his
NHL
prime.
career.
He's officially his prime now.
You
He's
could say that, yeah.
28
And
is when you hit your prime as a forward is 26, 28 as a defenseman, I would say. So he's officially hit his prime.
yeah, I'm gonna go with that. But no, Carey, I'm very impressed with, and I like the trade from the start.
Yeah, me too.
We kind
Even
of knew
though
what we were. Well, we kind of knew, but we also kind of didn't know what we were getting with him. But honestly, reassurance. If you can describe him in one word, it's reassurance,
it's reassurance on the defensive side. It's something that you didn't have necessarily
which
with
is something that Habs desperately needed.
yeah, because
Look at
you
the
can't
losses that we
rely
had
on
against
like
the good teams that we
a
had, the blowout
Struble and a
losses.
Barron. Struble, I guess he is the seventh defenseman. He was kind of more
He is.
reliable than Barron, but even him, you can't rely on him. And now I look at the defense and I'm like, you can rely on all those guys.
I'm curious where Struble goes on for as far as age with the defense that we have.
Well, he's 23, I think, maybe 24 now.
Yeah,
No, I think he's still 23. But yeah, so Jaden Struble's still 23.
23, August 9th, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carey is now the third oldest defenseman on because of course the
Yeah,
other
well,
two are
you have
30.
no, sorry, you have
Savard, you have
David
Savard and you have
Savard
Matheson.
and Matheson. Yeah, everyone else is younger.
But yeah, yeah, they're a young defense, but we needed someone a little bit older.
Yeah,
And
and it's good
also
to
with
have.
Savard, this makes it a bit easier to move on from Savard at the
Very
deadline.
true.
There's no way they're gonna I starting to think this might mean that Savard is out and
Yeah,
Savard
like maybe
has
he's
slowed
not going to
down
play
this
all
year.
82. He can still
That's
play for a bit, but like we're getting near like we have to find somebody who can eventually take his spot in the lineup. Or if it's not going to be one of the newer guys that do it for us, it's going to be okay. Who can we like get in that spot?
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, like Savard might be able to like take a night off
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
There's a little more reassurance. You don't have to,
Especially with Struble being the seventh defenseman.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he could come in, but like don't try and play him too much because if you play him a lot, it could cause issues.
yeah,
Like that whole third period, I would say he was the worst player on the ice against the Penguins in that third period.
yeah.
Every time he was on the ice, I swear he fell or he get like deked out by a Penguins forward, and it was just this year
Oh,
be a horrible team, but somehow we still always beat the Penguins the last couple of
yeah,
years as they've been going down. But this year it's been a bit different.
yeah.
I didn't like the
Both were
game.
tough
The first game
losses.
at the Bell Center was a little rough to watch
Yeah,
them. I was there against the Penguins. It was not the
yeah.
greatest game where they lost 6-3. Just very sloppy
It was,
defense.
and it was also in a way, it was also like leading to a turnaround as well. Like the way we were playing, like the way we lost against Pittsburgh, the way we lost against. There was another bad one as well. There, I think was
Uh,
it
Seattle and
Seattle?
the
Yeah, that
Rangers.
Seattle one that we
And the
lost.
Rangers before the Rangers imploded. We got to remember,
Yes, yeah,
Rangers imploded. They're
they did.
imploded now.
They
Speaking
did.
of which, Seattle Rangers, Kako,
Yeah, that
switch
was also a
sides.
very big thing that happened for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, all on Wednesday night. I was at my Christmas party all day, basically. It was an all day Christmas party. Started at
right.
1 p.m. We ended at 10 p.m.
That's nice. It's
Yeah,
good.
because why not?
Yeah.
I'm the youngest one there, so I
Oh,
stay a bit
really?
later.
Yeah, I'm looking at our losses now in December, and yeah, I mean,
Aside from the like, you can look in December. Aside from the one game against the Penguins, you can't complain about a single game. The way they played against Washington, the
yeah,
way they
you're
played
right.
against Winnipeg, those losses, for example, they
They
played good
did, they
games.
did, and December really showed like a turnaround, especially with Laine back in the lineup.
And this is where the whole thing about Laine comes in. I think it's more than just a goal,
Oh yeah,
like a goal scorer on the power play,
yeah.
which I was looking up something and I found out that the Habs or Laine himself has more goals on the power play in the month of December than 26 of the teams in the NHL.
That's insane.
Yeah, Laine just himself. The
Yeah.
Habs, I think, maybe have one more power play goal, if
He was in
that.
the blueprint for this team this season more than we anticipated for sure.
Yeah, like
And it
he
sucks that we
makes a
didn't have him to
difference.
the beginning, but he's a game changer.
But I
And
also noticed, uh, yeah, Alex Carrier, the defense looks so much better. So now
yeah,
they're a double threat now.
yeah,
But
and
what
it
we
shows that
do
we're winning
need,
more.
which is the most glaring hole, is a backup. Because what we saw against the Penguins kind of showed that. Not Mount Mon up until the game was lost 6-2, right? Doesn't matter. It's a bad
Right.
game. It's end. But it's the way it went down when Primo went. Like it looked even worse. And that shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened. You shouldn't be giving up the goals he was giving
Again,
up.
goalies can have an off night, and Primo, for the most part,
It's having an off
has
night every
been
night. Do you not notice that he's the worst goalie in the NHL this season in terms of
this
save
season.
percentage?
Save percent,
Yes,
okay,
look it
fine.
up. You got an 845. It's the worst in
That's
the
brutal.
entire NHL.
That's brutal.
Let me find this for you to prove
That's
this to you.
brutal. I believe it. I believe it.
So
Well, but rather than
let's go to save.
replacing him, I would rather get a third goalie
I mean,
because again,
it's
he's
not that
shown
hard.
that he could be a
There's some
back.
guys. There's two guys pushing in Laval that were doing well. Dobesh, he's kind of on and off hurt though.
Yeah,
And then you
I don't know
have
'cause, like our
Connor
goalie
Hughes,
pool,
who's
like to
28
speak
years
about our
old.
goalie pool that we've had, like we like look at Lindgren now. You know what I mean? Mm,
Okay, so there has now been a goalie that surpassed him in a worse save percentage.
I'm not
It's
surprised.
it's Mad Sogard in Ottawa. He played one game.
Yeah,
He
that
allowed
doesn't
four
really
goals
count.
on 17 shots in a half a game.
That
So he
doesn't really
almost
count
blew it. It's basically
because
he almost blew it for them.
yeah, exactly. That doesn't really count because
But that
Ottawa
doesn't
goalie
count.
is
But in
solid.
terms of
It's
goalies who have played at least, I'll say 5 games, he is dead last
yeah, I believe that.
with a 836. So it's worse than I thought.
That's bad.
And this is the biggest problem in Montreal.
It is.
And
But like I said, I don't want to like. I'd rather not get rid of him in the sense of like just getting rid of him like out of the lineup.
no,
I would rather add a third goalie.
well, I would rather, well, or swap him for another goalie. But I'd like maybe
Well,
you
here's the
you
thing
you.
though, because do we send him back down to the HL?
There's no point. He's gonna have to move on. Like his contract, I think is up. I don't think the Habs will ever bring
How
him
old is
back.
Primo anyway?
He's a 25.
Okay, so it's a make it or break it year, or make it or
This
break
was
it year.
supposed to be his make it or break it year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
And
he's shown me
you know how you
situations
say
and games where
Charlie
he's
Lindgren,
won me
right?
over. What's that?
Compare him to Charlie Lindgren. He could be like that. But the thing is, goalies like that can never make it with their first NHL team. They always have to go to a second team. Philip
Now, is that
Gustafson.
the defense though, or is that the team?
No, this is about a goalie needing a fresh start. He'll never make it in Montreal. He has no chance of making it in Montreal. Goalies
Well
sometimes need a
then,
fresh start. He is at that point now where he officially needs a fresh start.
okay.
He'll
So now let me ask you this: what happens when Dobbs does the same thing, or
That's the
Fowler?
thing.
What happens when Fowler does the same thing?
See, Fowler though, it's you're not gonna have an 845 goal like save percentage all the time. But Fowler is also more up there. He's like a pedigree goalie who wins at
We
every
said the
level.
same
He's
thing.
incredible.
We said the same thing about Zachary Fucali. We
Okay,
said
yeah.
the same thing about Caden Primo, CP. Remember the initials?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We were wrong about Primo, but Dobbs is not anything more than an NHL backup. People, because it's all to
So
hand
then
the.
it's a Dustin Tokarski, Peter Budaj situation where you had Peter Budaj as your backup, but you called up Tokarski to play the playoff game.
Well, I don't want to see Caden Primo play another game in the NHL for the Habs. I don't
I
ever want to
do.
see him play for the
I
Habs.
think he deserves to. Okay, you laid an egg versus Pittsburgh. Here's a
He laid
Detroit.
an egg against. We won a game 7-5 against Buffalo, right? Do you remember that game? He laid an egg there, and guess what? Montembeau came in the third period, saved their asses.
Yes, but now we have William Carrier. Now
What?
we're giving now we're giving Primo a chance to be like, okay, now you have actually a bit more veteran defense in front of you. Now you're on your last life.
Yeah,
Now
well,
you have to
they
perform.
didn't give him that chance. They had a chance to give it to him. They did it on purpose. They just wanted to win out.
Well, Detroit is very even in the sense of where we rank in the standings with them.
So
So
are you
I
saying give
understand
it
I
to him?
understand why Montembeau played both games,
So you're
and I
saying
like the fact that we won.
give him a game at like Florida or Tampa Bay and play a team that will kick our asses or and hope
Maybe
that he
not
only
Florida or
allows
Tampa
four
Bay
goals? Is
because
that
you can't go okay. Here's the best. Here's like one of the best teams in the conference or one of the
we're
best
about
teams
to
in
play
the
a
standings.
ton of really, really good teams. If you
We
look at
are.
the schedule, we're about to play
But we play
very,
Columbus
very good
tomorrow.
hockey
Do you
teams.
not play Primo tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I mean, we could, but why didn't you play him in the back to back against Detroit? It's not like Detroit is much better than Columbus.
No, I know. Well, I know that, but I'm saying because those were must-win games.
You're saying
So
the game
I
against Columbus
understand.
isn't
I
any much
understand putting your faith in Montembeau.
like. I mean, I love Montembeau, but Caden Primo, I think you need to move on. It's it's to the point
What about
now
Chicago?
against Chicago.
January
Yeah,
3rd.
maybe you give him a game against Chicago. I think maybe he needs to maybe get his head straight against uh, for the during the holidays. Let him go see his family and all that.
True.
Maybe it'll help his
Because
maybe it'll help
if
his
you let
head.
go of
Maybe you give
him,
him a game against Chicago.
if you let
But
go of
like
him
you
now,
still got to. But I can understand that maybe Montreal does need a third goalie because you can't trust him against a team like Florida and Tampa Bay. If we want to
unless you
be
just throw him to the wolves and be like, well, you're in net no matter what because Primo needs to rest. Because Montembeau needs to rest.
yeah, because
But
we
you
want to
could
save
do that
our
because
golden egg for
but there's also a danger with okay, if you want to say you're never playing for the Canadians again, well, now you're selling him low.
yeah, and
What are you
that's
going to
they
get
don't
in
want to
return?
say that. But something is telling me that could be the case. Did you see what St. Louis had to answer? They asked him like, "Oh, do you have any faith left in Primo?" Did you not hear how
And hear what he said.
he said I have to concentrate on a game. And he's like,
You have to
"But
what?
I have to concentrate on the game tonight.
He
That's in a
does,
couple
which he
hours."
does.
Instead of like having to deal with that, he doesn't want to answer questions about
But
Primo.
is
Primo
that
is
not a
also
management question though?
yeah, that's more of a
That's a management question.
but that's also a management question on the coach because the coach decides the goalie he starts.
And St. Louis is sold on Montembeau, so he's going to play Montembeau as long as he
He
can.
he loves Montembeau. I don't think he
Right.
trusts Primo anymore.
Oh, I think he said it with that answer.
Yeah, I have to
The
concentrate on a game. Let
St.
me
Louis,
go play.
St.
Let me
Louis,
play my
no, he
star
trusts the
goalie.
lineup. His decisions are the lineup. We know that. We know Kent Hughes gives him the lineup card. So we know that that's why Montembeau is playing all these games.
There's only certain times where I'm sure Kent Hughes goes up to him and says like, "Oh, we're looking at shopping this guy, so keep him in the lineup."
I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's that.
I
And I'm
wonder
pretty
if that was the
sure,
case with Justin Barron and Jaden Struble, where they were ready to move on from Justin Barron, so they let him because he didn't play bad the last couple of games but he wasn't good. He was just there.
well,
That's what.
the way we're playing, it looks like he was the problem.
Well, okay, maybe he was, but it's
Maybe.
not like. But yeah, I guess you just take out Struble and Barron. Well, I'm sure Struble can cover for Savard when
Oh,
we
I'm
have
sure. I'm not worried about that.
Carrier in now, but it's they didn't have Savard against the Penguins. Remember, he was like sick or injured, needed the
Yeah.
night off. So now people are seeing the value in Savard. Now Savard's great, but he is a little slow, and I think that makes
We
him not the perfect candidate to be Lane Hutson's
we
guy.
know what the elephant in the room is. We know that Savard is either going to go either this season or after this season or the next season. So
Yeah,
we
we
know
know
that.
that, but someone also put the question: would you trade absolutely 100% trade Savard at the deadline? You don't have to. This is a guy you can lose in free agency, and it's not the end of the world
Yeah, it depends on the value. It depends
because
what you get back.
his value in the room sounds like it's incredible. He
Right.
sounds like he's perfect in the room.
Right.
And there are some
Which
guys that you might not want to lose for that. And that could be the same, I guess, for Jake Evans in a way. I suggested that maybe lately I've been suggesting a bit on Maybe we have to trade him if he's gonna be bringing his value up so much. See what
No,
teams offer.
no.
Or do you really think that no matter what, uh, you got to sign him? Would you
I
would
think
be
you have
willing
to
to pay
sign.
him $3 million, knowing that all of a sudden he's become like an elite third line center producing wise this season?
I absolutely signed Jake
He's
Evans.
29 years old. He's done this.
Well,
He's never played at this level before. So I'm kind of a bit weary about how he's been playing this season because he's like tripled his
the way
output.
I see it is that you're already letting go of two forwards after this season, if not this season.
Well, you're gonna have to let go of Armia and Dvorak no matter what.
Exactly. So there is room in the salary for Jake Evans.
So
There
yeah,
is.
so that little extra money, you just give what Evans like
You give Evans.
3.5 for three
Sure.
years.
Sure.
That's where I
Done.
maxed out at though. And I've saw people say it. And you know what? That's the truth. I'll max out at 3.5 for 3 years because,
Yeah.
it's like prove it. And
It,
then Kirby Doc also has another
him, I'm willing to let go of more though.
another year, but that he needs to prove himself next year
Right?
because I understand the whole knee injury and stuff, but we can no longer rely on him being a
Cool. You're gonna get
second
replaced.
line center. And I'm glad to see Slevko. Speaking of which, I'm glad to see Slevkovsky finally back up on the top line.
Right?
It didn't work with Doc.
One thing I have to say, when the team was acting all beat up, when the team was down, when we were losing, Slakowski's attitude never changed.
No,
It it was he was hard on himself. He was hard on himself. But the way he acted off the ice and like
it,
again around other like around his teammates and stuff, that showed me leadership.
he
He
has.
did not lose faith.
I think what he understands is that he's gonna have slumps in his career. He's
Yeah,
not
and
a
he's
perfect
learning that,
player.
which is fine.
He's
You're
not.
learning,
He's not gonna be. He understands he's a first overall pick, so he gets a lot of pressure.
yeah.
And he's gonna have more pressure than he should because you know what? I don't think he is a typical first
He
overall pick. You know what he actually is? Do you think Brady Kachuk ever deserved to ever be if let's say Brady Kachuk, do you think he could ever be a first overall pick in any draft? Brady
oh
Kachuk,
okay.
not
That's a
Matthew.
in well, okay in any draft. This is like in 2012. I think he could be a number one pick.
Yeah. And
Or like 2012. That's like
but
a
that's it, like Slavkovsky too. But the point is, I think Slavkovsky is Brady Kachuk in some way. I think he's a
fair
very
point.
similar player. They hit. They have
Really
leadership
big. Yeah.
qualities.
I see it.
He's a European Kachuk. He might not seem all the time like it, but he is a shit stirrer. He's when Laine scored yesterday, he kind of like pointed and laughed. Or
Yeah.
on Friday,
Like I
did you
said,
see?
he plays big, which the Canadians desperately needed.
We
You
need
need,
more, a couple more guys like that. People
yeah, it
sometimes
doesn't hurt.
complain that like we don't have any guys who play big in the top six. He's the only one, but it's because when you have Kirby Doc next to him, he does it. It makes it look
Well,
worse
when he
because
plays big, I have a heart attack because I think that he's gonna get injured again.
well, Kirby Doc, yeah, do you know he always gets like
Because there's playing big and there's playing careless, and I think Kirby Doc plays a little
I think
careless.
careless. Yeah, no, when he tries to play big, he just gets like destroyed. You saw that,
Yeah,
right? This
it's
week,
not
past
pretty.
week, like who was it? Oh, Samuelson on Buffalo hit him,
Yeah,
and it like he like winded the crap out of
yeah,
him.
he
It's
did. I
like
remember that.
ridiculous. He's like it's like every time Kirby Doc gets hit. But you know who else used to have problems with getting hit like that? Jake
Emily?
Evans.
Oh, Evans too.
Every time Jake Evans used to get hit, it was always the most ugly looking hits. Of
Yeah,
course, to um the Mark Scheifele thing.
yeah.
I don't know if that hit would have been as bad looked as bad on any other player on the Habs. It's just the
Oh,
way
I
that
think it would. I think the way Shifley was going after, I don't know who it
I
was,
don't
but
know. But
I feel like
it
that would
was
have
a
been the same for
suspension
everyone.
no matter what. He probably
And like
injures the guy no
at the
matter what,
time,
but
just to go back to that time, a lot of people said, "Oh, his head was down. His head was down. It would have been avoided if his head was up." Okay, you have to keep in mind he was
he's looking for
literally
an
at
empty
the
net.
net. He was
It's
at the net, and he was literally watching the puck go into the net. So
yeah,
if there's
he's
a time to
alone.
have your head down,
There's not
that
a
would be the time to have your head down.
yeah, if there was ever a time he had the right. He had the right of way to have his
It's
head
not
down.
like he was shooting from the slot. He was literally wrapping the puck around the net
When
and watching the puck go
When
into the net.
Scheifele hit him, it was already done. It was already in the net.
Yeah, done.
Like
Anyway,
Shifley
just to
had time to
revisit that,
stop
that's why his
himself
head
from,
was down. That's why it looked bad, and it was bad. But yes, no, and yeah,
and every hit that Matt Rempe ever throws looks like that Shifley hit. I swear to God, he hits
and
guys.
Truba, and Truba.
No, yeah, well, Truba seems
Truba
to,
Truba likes hitting up with his
yeah,
shoulder.
like I
He
think we've
loves that.
discussed that before, right? Where
Yeah,
he hits up,
he hits up, which means that your head goes back
and
all the way.
he finished Barron's career in Montreal
Yes,
because
he did.
Justin Barron was actually playing his best hockey in a while for the
Yeah,
Habs at that point, and then that hit, and then he came back and he wasn't the same player for
yeah,
the like month and a half afterwards.
right.
So it's kind of a sign that maybe Truba led us to getting Carrier in some way. And now Truba's in Anaheim too, so neither of those guys are on the same team anymore.
Yeah,
But no, Truba, like that was an issue. There's a bigger issue with Truba now that we need to discuss too. Like what he did dealing with what he had on in the Rangers, he held them hostage.
it was in his contract, so
Yeah,
like
it
the
was in
Rangers
his
agreed.
contract.
Like the Rangers aren't innocent in this, right? The Rangers agreed to put him like with that deal in the contract. So you're the one that wrote the contract.
Exactly.
You're
And
liable.
they did write it. And you know what? He really didn't want to be there, but you know what? He eventually accepted. He's like, okay, I guess I got nowhere else to go.
Right?
I'll accept the deal because you guys are threatening me.
Yeah. The
They
thing about
threatened him.
contracts.
That the way that was, that's kind of rude though. Like you actually is an NHL defenseman, but the thing, wait, Truba hits. It's legal, but it shouldn't be legal.
Yeah.
He understands a loophole. That's the thing.
That's yeah.
And it is the way that Scott Stevens used to play in his time.
Yeah. It
And now
is.
you can't do open ice hits like that. Well, against the boards, Truba hits the same way, and it's
It
legal.
is.
So
Yeah.
he gets away with it.
Yeah. And
And
that was
that's
always a problem. That was it still is a problem. But yeah.
so to go back about Jake Evans though, like what's the kind of contract you'd give him?
Well, what's going on outside? Like what are people saying? Like I heard 3 million, 4 million, I think.
Yeah, 3 to 4. Yeah, 3.5. But I'm worried that if he produces enough and he wants to like test the free agent market, he goes for 4.5, 5 million because he could ask for that. Some guys pay up like that. Do you remember David Clarkson?
Yep.
You know who's
Yeah.
there is a David Clarkson right now that's looking like, and it sucks because I thought he would be perfect for the Habs fourth line. Matthew Olivier there,
Yeah.
9 goals.
Yeah.
He's gonna get that big contract, and you're not gonna want to pay a guy like that though.
I'm
And
not really like a fan of talking contracts and stuff, but I mean, if I have to go there for if we're continuing this conversation, if he's asking for more than five, I feel like then you have to go
yeah,
okay.
and that's where
The odds be ever in your favor.
I guess now would be a good time to discuss a little bit, feel him out a bit.
Yeah, anything more than five, I'm hesitant, but
Yeah,
29. He has a few years
29.
left on playing wise, so
Yeah,
it's too bad though because he fits in our scheme perfectly.
he does, and like I think the
Do you
truth
go?
is,
Do you attempt to go back to Dano if you
it
let
would
go of
be
Evans?
no. I mean, no. You got to
No,
move on, and
I
it
you
turns
don't.
out Jake Evans is just like a lesser offensive version of Dano, but
Right,
he's producing at Dano offensive level.
right.
Like what is Dano doing offensively this year? That's a good question. Let's just check quickly
Yeah,
before we'll have to take our little break there.
for sure,
But we'll end on that, and then we'll take the next break, kind of thing.
sure.
So Dano is
32 games, 33 games played this season. 3 goals, 14 assists, 17 points.
yeah. So
He's
he's
yeah, he's a
outproducing
passer.
Dano this season
Yeah, which is good.
because
Well, I mean,
Evans
yeah,
has 7 goals and 19 points in 33 games.
yeah. So he's doing better.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyways, we're gonna take a break and hopefully we can get through this faster than last time.
Sure.
All right. See you on the next. So, so yeah, guys, welcome back to the Canadiens Cafe. We had our short little break. And yeah, so what we were talking about is yeah, Jake Evans is actually outproducing Phil Danault this year. So his $1.7 million contract could be very valuable to teams looking for trades in
This
general,
is
though.
his contract year right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He'll
I guess
probably,
well, I guess that kind of answers why he's outperforming.
and that's what's scary. When you got have a guy on a contract year, he's never produced more than 29 points, was his career high before. He's already at 18 and on pace for 47 this season.
I
You
mean,
know, I
if
mean, it's
the way I see it is, look, if Kent Hughes sees him in the plans, if his name is written down in the book for next season and the year after, then I feel like they're comfortable paying him with what he wants. If
yeah,
he's not in the plans and you feel like moving on, well, there's your answer. So it's more of a question of is he in the plans or is he not in the plans?
right now, I think he
But
should be in the
right
plan.
now, the way I see it is he should be in the plans. I absolutely do.
I think they still view him in the plans.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think they truly talk about trading him. They talk about trading Armia, Dvorak, and Savard a lot.
because
But
put it this way, if he wants to leave the free agency, where does he think he's gonna go?
like, will there be teams that will be willing to pay him $4 million? And teams do that, you know. They
Yeah,
pay
teams do
guys
that, but are they gonna
after
be
a
like?
horrible contract year. And this is where I call it the David Clarkson disease. That's what I'll call
Because
it.
keep in mind, when David Clarkson signed with the Leafs, it's not like they were contenders, you know. And I'm not saying Montreal's a contender right now either way, but I'm just
We're
saying
not.
that we're on the uprise, and especially with Laine, and now with Carrier helping this team improve,
Yeah.
we already see it. Is he gonna want to go to a team that's gonna freaking reset? This is all part of the negotiation, I guess. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
either
yeah,
him or
like
his agent
a
that are
lot
gonna
of
talk
teams
about
that
this.
will be able to afford him would be teams on the reset. Like even like
Like
a
San Jose is a good example. Columbus
Columbus,
is another good one.
San Jose, yeah, like you said, San Jose. Yeah, I wouldn't say Anaheim's in a reset. I think Anaheim, their problem, and I was kind of like looking into it, could be Greg Cronin, their coach.
Mm.
There's been a lot of players that have hit the down low
The coach
since.
before that was it Dallas Eakins?
I think so, and
Yeah.
that's where I think when he was coach, Zegras was playing good hockey, and then ever since
Yeah.
Zegras has not been, well, Zegras has had injuries, but even when he was in the lineup, he's not performing to nearly the level he should. I don't think they actually want to trade Zegras. There's a lot of rumors, but I don't think so. Zegras is also not the right guy for Montreal to ever trade for.
I feel like if that was gonna happen, it would have happened already.
Yeah, if it was exactly, if it was gonna happen, it would have happened. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now the Habs have moved on. I think
We
they're
already got
gonna,
one. I feel like it was gonna be between like Laine or him, and Laine was the outcome.
yeah, and they decide to, but I think maybe now they have to look for a second line center. I don't know if Zegers is the
Well, you
right
have Demidov coming in next year.
what.
You have Demidov coming in next year.
Yeah, you have Demidov, but he's not a center. He's a winger. We have another winger. That put so what that's gonna do is
Oh
that's
yeah,
gonna push New Hook to be 3C. Oh wait, we don't need a 3C. Maybe we don't, but we do need a second C. Or
yeah.
New Hook either to the wing or to either to like third line wing or third line center. Or will Jake Evans be your third line center? Because Jake Evans with uh with Heineman and Armia, well, we got to get rid of Armia.
Heineman is absolutely staying in this lineup. That's another name that we wanted to talk about. Heineman, I feel he just I don't know what happened, but he's a name now and he's here.
Yeah, he
So
well,
love
what he
that.
has, he's physical and has a shot. That's some some guys
His
they need
shot is
like
unreal.
that thing where they're because everyone can be good at like all these players are really great at everything, but there's got to be one thing that you're like among the best at, and that's what Heineman has. Like in transition skating, do you ever remember when Pacioretty? Now I'm not going to say he's as good as Pacioretty, but he plays a similar way to Pacioretty when he shoots the puck in that aspect. But he's also more physical.
Hopefully, and maybe this is Pacioretty's injury that made him play differently, but I swear to God, I better not see Heineman play the perimeter
No, but his shot from the perimeter.
because then it's gonna be the same outcome.
Yeah, and he can't, but I don't think he would play the perimeter. Who's leading the
That's what
Habs?
I'm thinking.
Who's leading the Habs in hits out of the forwards?
Is it
Is
Doc?
it him or is it Slavkovsky? I'm just saying, like it's him and Slavkovsky.
It
Okay,
might be, yeah,
I know
Sapowski's
that
the
they're
right
they're both
answer.
up there.
Yeah.
They both hit a lot.
Yeah.
They're big hitting guys, and that's nice
It
to
is.
have.
It's very, and with Heineman, I feel relaxed. I feel confidence.
Yeah, Heineman. But like, what I like about Heineman is he can be that guy in the bottom six. Some people are like, "What? Try him in the top six?" No, like, because there's no point in trying him in the top six when you want him to develop into a certain role, and you want him to
True.
be a third, fourth liner, right? Third liner,
Yeah.
ideally. In his case, he's going to be a third liner. And you know what? You're probably playing with his center for the next like 2, 3 years. He'll probably be playing with Evans for a while.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
let's
if,
be honest here.
yeah.
You're not gonna change him. You're not gonna have him play with like a new center next year. You're gonna
Right.
probably have him with Evans.
Yeah. If he's in the plans to stay, which I hope he is.
Also, uh, you got Lean. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Sorry.
just kind of shut off for a second. Okay, because something. Okay, it's just the other one popped up. It was done
Oh,
recording. That's
okay.
all. But yeah. So yeah, one thing that hasn't gone unnoticed or that has gone slightly unnoticed is that Nick Suzuki's still above a point a game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going very good for him too.
It's uh it's something that like you got to be really happy about and just keep on hoping for the best with him. What did you think
Right.
about Lane Hutson's first NHL goal?
It was beautiful. It was very
In the
nice.
most Lane Hutson type of way.
Right?
Yeah, you just get him in a situation like that where he kind of like
The
skates like
way
that.
he moves the puck, what I love, what I absolutely love about it. And again, maybe it's because I watch a lot of minor hockey. Maybe it's because I notice it just because it's crazy and something that I notice. He can
Yeah,
move the puck like he keeps his head up. He does everything right. But like I swear, he handles the puck so well. Like I'm trying to remember the last time I remember a defenseman that had like as smooth movements of like deking or moving the puck. Like
yeah,
Eric Carlson,
yeah.
right?
But also he reminds me a lot of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, that
He
perfect.
plays like
I
Quinn
needed a
Hughes.
name. I needed a name, and there you go.
He's
Perfect.
exactly like Quinn Hughes. He's
Exactly.
a slightly smaller Quinn
As
Hughes.
close as it's
Maybe
gonna
not
get, but
maybe
that's where
not
I was
as
going with
good
this. Yes.
defensively yet, but that
Yes.
can work on because I think Quinn Hughes had some defensive issues when he entered the NHL too.
The way Lane Hudson moves the puck for how young he is, it blows my mind.
It's
And we saw
crazy.
that we saw that with the power play yesterday. My God. The power play yesterday,
Yeah, like the way
Detroit,
it's dominant.
it's dominant. I know like a lot of people are like, oh, shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. That's great.
There's only one
And
player that has to shoot it.
well, now they have three options. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
well, they got
It's
many options too.
amazing. Well,
You've
they have
got
many options, but normally the three people that shoot it are either Patrik Laine, used to be Cole Caulfield. He's passing it more and more, but it still his name
it's
is there.
still he's still there. He's still an
He's
option,
still
but
there. He
right
can still
now
shoot. Yeah, exactly.
line
And
is
now
hot,
Lane
so
Hudson.
he's learned to pass the puck a bit more. But unfortunately, it got to his head. He actually had a good shooting chance, I think, on Friday
He's
night.
gonna get it. He's gonna realize that when he
But
gets the goals, he's gonna shoot more.
instead of shooting it, he passed it to Slavkovsky, where Slavkovsky maybe wasn't ready to receive a pass,
Yeah,
and it kind of bobbled a little bit.
I'm not worried
So
about
I'm
that.
wondering if that's getting to Cole's head that he's now a passer because he seems to be
No,
passing a lot.
no, no.
No, he's a shooter. He'll
St.
always be
Louis
a
is
shooter.
there to tell him you're gonna shoot the puck before you pass.
Yeah, someone, if anything, they maybe talk to him about it and maybe Slavkovsky to
Yeah,
expect passes a bit
Caulfield's a
more.
big boy now. He doesn't need, he's not like, well, don't get me wrong, he's still a young kid, but he's not the young kid anymore.
Who?
Now
Slav?
on our team, he's like, okay, now we can like, you know what to do. Arrange à toi.
Are you talking about Slavkovsky or Cole?
Caulfield,
Caulfield, yeah. Well, Caulfield's like he's like a young veteran now at this point.
sophomore. Yeah.
He's well,
Well, past sophomore.
way past sophomore. This is his fourth full season. It looks like Grant's recording device shut down, so we're just gonna take a little break on that, and we'll be right back with more details on the Slavkovsky situation. Right. So Grant's back. So
I forgot to
as we were
plug in my
saying,
Mac.
like we were talking about like Slavkovsky, Caulfield. You know how
Right.
like Caulfield is like a veteran young guy, and
Yeah,
he's a guy that can
I kind
help
of feel
guys like
like
Slavkovsky.
now like all you have to do is give Caulfield the look, like shoot more, and then he'll be like,
More. But
yes.
also, you got to do that to Slavkovsky. You got to get
Yeah,
Slavkovsky.
Sikorsky, I feel like you have a bit more slack with
But
Sikorsky, but yeah.
with Slavkovsky last night, his goal is exactly where he needs to be. When
Yep.
Suzuki shot it, how many times have I said he needs to be the guy in front of the net?
Yep.
When you're
Like
in the offensive zone,
the way how Laine is comfortable, like in that Ovechkin spot, is like where Sikorsky has to be exactly. Like well, Sikorsky has to be like that in front of the net. Yeah,
he's got to be like
absolutely.
a, like a Brady Kachuk. Thomas Holmstrom was the
A
best at that.
screen. That
Green, yeah, and he was doing it. He was technically involved with like
was the
like
one
next to
problem. That was literally the one problem or the one thing that like that was why Detroit scored their goal. There was no one covering the front of the nets, which led to the
yeah.
tip in by Valeno. Or it was I don't know if it was a tip in, but it was like he had the puck and
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
it
know.
wasn't a tip in. He just had a shot in
He
front of the
had
net. No
he
one was
was wide
covering.
open in the middle of the point blank range, and that's why I
But
went
you know
through.
what line that often is? It's the
That was
Kirby Doc line.
that was a Savard. Oh, the you talking about forwards? I thought you were talking about defense.
Well, defense
The
Savard
defense line was
mistake, but
Goulia and
like
Savard, right?
it. What?
The
It's
def- when
Savard and Jackai.
oh, that's what it was. Sorry, yeah, not yeah,
No, it was Savard and Jackai.
Savard
And
and
look,
Jack.
Jackai's not perfect, but he's a third
That's
pairing
why
defenseman.
I figured you
And
know it was
so
the mental
and
there.
Savard isn't either at it. But Savard, he's great on the penalty kill. And
Yep,
that's why you could keep him as a third pairing defenseman. If he wants to resign for like, I don't know, 1.5 as he gets a little older, this is his last
it's about
contract.
what he wants. Yeah,
He's 34 years old. He's the oldest guy on the team. He's older
yeah.
than Gallagher, so he's the oldest guy on the team.
Maybe you keep him one more year just to like kind of like that way when Reinbacher is in the lineup and stuff. Maybe you
Yeah.
keep him for that, like maybe 40 games.
Yeah.
But
And Reinbach is not gonna be in the NHL next year. He was supposed ideally he was supposed to be, but because he lost this full season, he's now a year behind in development, right? So you can't really it
that's not.
sucks, but
You don't think he's playing for the Habs at all?
next season,
Yeah.
maybe 8, 9 games max. I don't
Oh,
see he'll be a call up, but he
oof.
won't play regular minutes in Montreal. There's no way.
That's not good.
No, Reinbacher's behind. That knee injury, he got a whole year taken away. Remember, it's 5 to 6 months. He sits around in the press box right now.
Yeah, that I know.
But no, it's not good, and it's not his fault. It's the fucking
Yeah.
knee injury that screwed up his career.
I feel if he gets injured again, you have no choice but to look at other considerations.
I mean, you have time with him, but
Yeah, but this team doesn't.
if he needs to have like a full season, a full season now in North America.
Yeah.
He was great. What his first like 11 games last year in
He was.
Laval.
That's why I was like, okay, like maybe he jumps in. But yeah,
He he needed he needed a full season in Laval this year. That's what the ruling was supposed to be. 1 full year in Laval.
it's brutal.
He was 1 year away. He's still 1 year away. Maybe a bit longer now because of this knee injury.
Yeah, I
The knee injury
guess.
may even set him back even more. Um, things are not great
No.
with
It's
that.
too bad.
But we need someone to play with Hudson, and it's not going to be Matheson. You need something more solid defensively,
Yeah, you need a prime defenseman. That's not
and
easy.
he's not that. He is not that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, Carrier now is our leader in
I
plus
guess,
minus.
right? Yeah, there's that,
But yeah, he leads us in plus minus,
which is very good.
which is very good. Well, it's +2 because the only other guys who are positive this season were Jake Evans and Nick Suzuki. probably the two guys who've had their best
Yeah,
seasons. If Nick Suzuki continues and doesn't, if Nick Suzuki never gets another penalty minute, he should win. He should go up for the Lady Byng.
a good guess.
4 penalty minutes so far. Not
Wow.
bad, but
Yeah.
you know who never gets penalties? Dvorak. For some reason,
Yeah,
he never
because
gets any.
the three times that he's on the ice,
Well, he's always on the ice. He's always taking a face
he's
off.
always on the ice, man. Yeah, you're right.
So now this goes like, what do we do with him? He's great at the face
Okay,
off.
wait, before I start, he had a good game last night.
Yeah,
He had
he's
one.
had
There
a
was
lot of
one
good
little
games.
thing where there was a 2-on-1 with Armia and Dvorak, and that obviously went the way it went. But they forechecked very well. He had a very good game considering that we won that good. Yeah, I have that's my only complaint. The 2-on-1 with Armia is my only real whatever with Dvorak. He had a very solid game yesterday.
And he gets criticized for everything he does.
He does. He does. And half of it is me. I know. I'm
Uh,
guilty.
Well, I mean,
But
everyone's guilty, but like, no, but like, I was starting to think, and I'm like, last night, I'm like, if you really wanted to come back for like $1 million, maybe I was just
yeah.
out of my mind. But
If
you know what? I realized quickly I was probably a little out of my mind, but it was something.
Evans leaves for free agency, I take Dvorak for 1 million.
Yeah, exactly. But that probably depends on Evans. And I was just starting to think the more Evans scores, the more his price value will go up. And he could go and say, look, I put up more points than Philip Danault this season. Give me his money. It's
You're gonna think I'm
crazy.
crazy, but I kind of give it to him. I
Get that much
go,
money? Five
okay.
mil? I'm not giving
I
you
go,
5 mil.
oh, if it goes down, if 500 or is not five, if 5 million is the final offer, and I know I'm getting rid of Armia, I know I'm getting rid of Dvorak.
Yeah,
Savard, well, say in this case, Savard leaves and walks.
yeah. But
We have the money to give it to him.
do you want no, we don't. Because guess who needs $8 million the next year? There's a
Lining,
defenseman that needs $8 million.
Lane Hudson.
He's gonna need 8 mil. About if you look at the contracts and you look at his comparisons, Adam Fox and Quinn Hughes are his two biggest comparisons in the game right now. They're making like 8 million,
Okay,
8.5.
so here's what I do. I give Kent Hughes the cookbook, and I let him cook.
Okay.
I like Kent
Yeah,
Hughes.
you
Here's
said you didn't
here's
like
here's
talking
the cookbook.
contracts, but
Here's what you got to do to cook something. Make me dinner.
I saw something that said like how much should we pay Lane Hudson? And that's when I realized, oh my God, how
Yes.
are we ever gonna pay for Jake Evans'
Pay for
contract?
Lane Hudson by saying yes. Blank
Yes.
check.
But and then don't forget in 4 years we owe Ivan Demidov 10 million.
Cool. Done.
And I think
Good.
aside from that, I can't see anything else in the future guaranteed, but that all seems
Well, then
very
we have to pay Montembeau 10.5 million per year. So yeah.
Oh no, that no, we're gonna pay our goalies less. Don't worry. You shouldn't if you have a star player that's making 10 million, you don't have time to pay a goalie 10.5.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why that was the way it was. I don't know if Subban was still on the team if they ever would have paid Price 10.5. I think
No, I don't think they would have.
maybe they would. I think
But
Bergevin was not good at negotiating contracts, though. Or
no.
I think his problem was he loved certain players too much, and he would just give them blank checks. Like
He
that's what
loved
happened
his
with Gallagher.
guys.
That's what
Yeah.
happened with Price. Look,
Yeah.
Gallagher's overpaid. I'm not gonna make a complaint about the way he's playing. He's playing great, but
So
he's
okay, well
overpaid.
then if you say that, is he overpaid?
Well, 6.5 for what he does. It's for what he can be.
How many years does he have left on his contract? Three, four,
Three. Yeah,
three,
I think he's got two more after this. Also,
two more. I think that's a good
Anderson's
deal.
got 5.5 for the next two. They're coming
Anderson
off the
is
book at the
something
same
that.
time. They come off the book at the same time.
So I'm
Maybe
still at the point like in my opinion, I don't think they're bad yet because Gallagher's still playing lights out. Yeah, okay, he struggled, but what player doesn't struggle? And Anderson, we all
it,
expect this big collapse at some point, but it hasn't happened yet.
it happened. It happened last year. He just came back up. He collapsed last
So
year.
okay, so he had a bad year.
No, that's a collapse. What he had, he's bringing himself back up. That I'm calling what happened to Anderson last year as a collapse for him. That's
Okay.
collapsed.
Okay, but we also finished fifth last. You know,
But, no, but he was still he took a collapse. It was the worst thing of his life. Played the worst hockey of his life last year. This year he's back. But you could say Armia the year last year he had a bounce back year after he probably had
I
his
don't know.
collapse
I
in
especially
that
with Gallagher,
equivalency.
I don't think it's a bad contract yet. But that's just
Oh
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well
I
Gallagher,
think if he has a
it's
flat,
always going to be overpaid. He's always going to be overpaid, but it's not the end of the world that it's overpaid. I'm just saying they're not good contracts, and no team would trade for them. Specifically Anderson's, who had a
I don't know.
career low,
Could
the
another
worst
team?
year of his career in a full season. He had 9 goals, 20 points in 78 games. That was a career
Well,
low last year.
those were Bergevin contracts.
Yes.
But so if Kent Hughes was GM at the time, I feel like yes, okay, maybe a better deal could have been made.
For
But
Anderson, for sure.
yeah, but considering that it was Bergevin, I don't know. Like I don't know if other teams could have gotten that deal out of Gallagher and Anderson. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know if other teams would have paid Anderson as much. It was like he fucking threw the money. He threw the money at Anderson like crazy. Just like he
And
yes, he
was that the year that they made the final, or when did he offer? That was
the year before.
the year before.
It was looking good, and of
Yeah,
course at 20 goal pace. But no matter what, Anderson has never even had a single year where he could live up to his contract in
yeah.
reality. But
Anderson is more tough to answer for than Gallagher, in my opinion. But
Gallagher, it's just his age and like we look at the
yeah, it was
money
his tenure. He had, he was as long as a
tenure.
Habs Bergevin was practically.
Yeah, well, he was the only guy that outlived Bergevin's time.
Yeah.
The only have that did that.
Yep.
Actually, no, there was one other one. Carey Price,
Yeah, but he wasn't like.
really there. Was he really? He played 5 games.
Well, yeah, but Gallagher got injured too. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Price and
Yeah,
Gallagher.
yeah, well, yeah. Gallagher. I think that season was probably Gallagher's most injured season.
Yeah.
Actually, that would actually make sense because Gallagher, like last year, we started to notice he was coming back up again too.
Yeah.
Kind of his normal self.
Even like I don't know, like he always plays like with this never say die attitude. So like
He never gave that
he
up,
isn't.
and
Yeah, he
that's
never gave
why
that up.
I guess you can't say it's a bad contract
Which is
because he's still gonna.
that's what I'm arguing exactly.
I can see your point where it's not a horrible contract no matter what because he will always give it his all. But I think
Yes,
we're all expecting.
okay. So yes, he'll always give it his all, but keep in mind, like he's holding on his own. Like it's not like he's trying and nothing's working. Like yeah, sure, fine, he struggled. I'm not denying that he struggled, but he's keeping up for a lineup spot. I'm not healthy scratching him.
No, you
You know what I
shouldn't
mean?
have to. But no, you not. You never scratch him right now. If you scratched him, the team would like implode.
But that's my point. Like he's not playing. He's not playing that bad.
No, he's putting. Well, he's playing around his.
He's playing
He's
his
not
level
playing
of
at
hockey,
his
which he has for the past 5
where he
years.
was in his. Yeah, he's playing his best hockey since 2021. Let's
Yeah,
just say
the last 5 years. Well, 4 years.
4 years. There you go. Since the rebuild ended,
Yeah,
like started,
yeah,
this is the best hockey we've ever seen from him, hands down.
yeah.
No questions asked about that. That's for sure. But last year he wasn't bad either. He
No,
actually put up a
that's what I'm saying.
respectable 16 goals, 15 assists in his new third line role because he doesn't play. He used to always play like big, like, bigger minutes, like 15, 16 minutes.
And that's why I feel like the contract. Okay, so just because he plays less minutes doesn't mean that the contract gets worse,
No, no. I can see your point on that.
right? He has a new role. That's all it is. He has a new role.
It's a new role, but like it's a role that you would normally pay a guy 3 million to do, but he's being paid 6.5 for.
Because at the time he was getting paid as a $6.5 million player. He was playing top line minute or not top line minute, but he was
And
playing top 6.
and then after the cup run, I think they realized like he cannot be a top six forward anymore.
There's younger and faster and better,
Yeah,
which
there's
happens
younger,
to
faster,
every
better,
NHLer
and
ever.
the NHL's faster now, and his body was breaking down slowly.
Yeah, that's why I only have
Last year
one
he had his
roster.
first healthy season since 2019.
Yeah, I believe it.
He missed 5 games. Why?
Well,
For
also
the
because
only
Shea
time he's
Weber
been in
wasn't shooting, but
suspension.
that's also because Shea Weber wasn't shooting from the point. So
Okay, yeah. There you go. Well, we didn't have that kind of stuff.
they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like Shea Weber being a type of defenseman that would shoot like that, that definitely makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
And
it does.
you can't ever like discount that. There's no one like that on the Habs now. But
Right.
now they have a guy that can wrist it maybe almost as hard.
Yeah.
But so the guy that needs to be careful for his hands now is Slavkovsky.
Yeah.
Slavkovsky will learn,
He will.
but he's just got to keep his stick there in front of the net and
And
just
he's gonna realize that like when he's in the middle of like again, like when he's in the middle of the net and when he's in front of the net, opportunities happen in front of the net. Like careers are made in front of the net. They
yeah,
are.
and that's his career.
And that's his
Well,
career.
he's already paid for life,
Yeah.
7.4. But now you want to produce, Slav? You want to win a Stanley Cup? Go to the front of the net. That's how you're going to
In
win
the
us a
front of the
Stanley
net.
Cup. That's your
And,
job, and
yep.
that's where I think he stands. And
And he's gonna like it there. He's gonna love
yeah,
it there.
yeah. Look, it looked like he almost scored last night when he pointed to
Yeah, because
Laine.
chances happen. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the goal. He pointed to Laine. It's like it's your.
Yep.
Well, he did score last night, but I
Good.
mean, like he almost scored again. But he pointed to
Yeah.
Laine. He's like,
Yeah.
"That's yours."
Yep.
And then when Suzuki scored, you saw it on his face.
Yep.
He definitely tipped that one.
It was awesome.
And Cole Caulfield, he loves to, even though he's not scoring, he seems to be loving his new role passing the puck.
Yeah, we said it. The line is powerful, man.
Yeah, it's a perfect
And
power
it's
play.
clicking. It's really clicking.
And it's gonna become a problem eventually. Line A playing with Doc and Newhook, who aren't really doing much. Uh,
They're figuring it out, or they're trying to at least.
Newhook is being Newhook, which is just being a fast player. He can win some.
It's not like he's a non-factor.
No,
He's a
no,
factor.
no, no. He's a factor, and Doc is a factor. Like he draws a lot of penalties, but he
He
doesn't.
does.
But it's he's not the same player right now.
Yeah.
There's no confidence, but he draws penalties.
And maybe now the confidence, like this is now the opportunity for your confidence to get built up. You're on the holiday break. You come back in refreshed. You know, the cards are in their favors now.
Exactly. So yeah, so this should be it. We should see what happens after the holiday break. There's a
Yep.
game tomorrow against
There's a
Columbus.
bunch of tough competition, like you said.
Yeah,
We have,
let's. Yeah, who do we?
so we're
Well,
December
after
here.
Columbus,
After Columbus,
I
you have
think,
Florida the 28th. And then there's a back to back. So Florida Tampa.
or
Then there's
is it Florida
Vegas.
Tampa on the back to back, or is
It's
it going to
Florida
be
the Saturday,
Tampa
Tampa the Sunday.
Carolina?
Yeah. So it's Florida the Panthers the 28th on Saturday, Tampa Bay the 29th on the Sunday.
And then
And
on
then
the
the 31st,
31st,
you have the Vegas
they're playing
Showdown. So it's
Carolina.
Vegas. It's Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
Yeah, it's
Why are
Vegas.
they going to Vegas before going to
Because it's
Carolina?
New
Like
Year's
that
Eve.
just
So I'm
seems.
pretty sure the NHL has a contract that the Canadians have to go to Vegas on New Year's Eve
Oh yeah, that was like last year.
because they want the fans to go to Vegas. That's why.
Oh yeah, they're not even playing in Carolina this time. I'm so used to them playing in Carolina on that trip,
No.
but it's because instead they're going to end up playing Chicago on the
Yeah.
Friday instead. So they're not even
Yeah.
going to play
Yeah.
Carolina.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But yeah,
They
those
go
are
from
very tough.
Florida to
Those are
Vegas.
some tough games. And then, not to mention, after Chicago, they have to play in Colorado, which will be another tough matchup.
Are they healthy? They are. They're getting
They're
healthier,
getting
right?
healthy. They have Blackwood. I think Blackwood is better than Gorgiev
That's
this year.
yeah, that's true. They have Blackwood now. Yeah.
They'll be good. Then we play. So I see after the break one really winnable game. Maybe they can sneak one against like
If
Colorado.
we get if we get one versus Florida or Tampa, that's impressive.
Yeah,
If
but
we
don't
get a
expect
nice
it.
win versus what's that?
Don't expect it is what.
Oh no, I'm not expecting it, but I'm saying it'd be nice to have.
Yeah,
Like a win versus Florida or Tampa is nice.
but
Vegas is also a very good opportunity because it is, an early game.
yeah,
I'm
but
not expecting it, but it'd be, fair.
I'm seeing
Chicago is one that you could sneak away with.
we should sneak away with actually should.
Yeah.
It's like playing Columbus tomorrow night. We should win,
If
ideally.
Mrazek is still their goalie, then we should get that one.
I don't think he is, but it does. We should still get it.
Yeah.
He might still be though.
Yeah.
But the point is, we should still get it. And then after Colorado, it's my birthday game on January
So one,
6th.
two, three, four, five, six. Out of the 6 games,
I see two wins.
I'm gonna challenge them to three. If you
Okay,
can
you're
get
gonna say
three out
that
of
they're gonna win a
six,
game against one of Colorado, Vegas, or
if you can get 50%, if you can get 3 wins out of the six from the holidays, you're doing your thing.
counting tomorrow's, which I think is almost
Counting tomorrow's, yeah.
yeah. Because then and then on the 6th against Vancouver, we won't count that as the holidays. Holidays are over at that point.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Yep.
counting the 6 games, including tomorrow. Yeah, three. I'm saying 2 out of 6. You're saying 3 out of 6. We'll see how it
I'm,
goes.
I'm asking for three.
We'll
That's
discuss
my
it when
Christmas.
we.
That's my Christmas wish.
Yeah, sounds
Three out
good.
of six.
Yeah, that would be a nice wish because we want to progress. But 2 out of 6 would still be good. I mean,
2 out of 6 would still be all right.
but it's
And
gonna
it's a
be
lot of
a
Western
hard month of
Conference teams.
January too. So three out of
Yeah,
six would be ideal actually.
yeah.
And I
Because
think they
it's
could.
a lot of Western Conference as
I
well. So
think they
it's
can go
free
into
points.
Vegas and win.
Free
I think they
points.
have a better chance of beating Vegas than they do Tampa or Florida. But that's my personal opinion.
That's true. I agree with that.
I'm looking forward to the Suzuki Barkov goal scoring showdown when they play
Oh
each
yeah.
other. It's always like a
And
trying to one
Florida.
up, and
So Florida
Barkov always
doesn't.
one ups him because he's a tier or two ahead of him. But
Right.
it seems to be like Barkov scores, Suzuki gets pissed, scores, and it's fun.
Yes,
It
it
was
is.
a fun
And
thing last year,
Florida is without their secret weapon.
which
There's no
is
Brandon Montour.
oh yeah, that's
He's
their
in
new
Seattle
secret.
now. So that's also very nice.
Yeah, should be a good time watching these games, and
Yeah,
we'll enjoy the World Juniors too.
that's very true too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that should be it for this edition of the Montreal Canadiens Cafe or Canadiens
Yes.
Cafe
Yep.
podcast, and we'll talk after the holidays.
Yep. Happy holidays to
Yeah.
everyone. Spend time with
Happy
your
holidays,
family and loved
everyone.
ones. And yeah, we'll see you after.
Yep. See you next year, guys.
See you next year.
Bye.